there's a new movie that you might want to watch based on a true story. It's called Last Breath. And here to talk about that are our local movie reviewers, Bart and Jennifer Mills. Welcome, guys.
Good morning.
All right, so Last Breath. It looks like a really good movie, but you're going to let us know.
Yes. So this movie stars Woody Harrelson and Simu Liu, and they are deep sea divers. They're stationed off in the North Sea, and they're tasked with repairing the gas lines that are at the bottom of the sea. So they go down. This is the true story about one of the divers who, while they're down there and there's a huge storm, his umbilical, which carries his heat, his oxygen, and his electricity, snaps. And so he is stranded 300 feet at the bottom of the North Sea.
300 meters.
Oh, 300 meters,
Yeah.
sorry.
Wow,
Yes.
so there was an actual documentary about this beforehand, right?
Yeah, the documentary I think came out in 2012. The incident itself.
No, the incident was
or
2012. The
2012.
documentary came out in 2019.
2019. But yeah, I mean, and I, being a completist, and this is dad core movie stuff here, so I watched both. And so it is a fascinating story because largely most of us have very little knowledge of these amazing, giant, creations at the bottom of the North Sea. There's oil. They found oil there, and there's these giant oil drills, and there's this huge pipeline and all this stuff that takes place, just meters and meters below the ocean's top. So, and there's only a few hundred men who are able to actually do this kind of diving. So, if you're into that kind of Nat Geo kind of information, this is a good flick.
Yeah. So I mean, I can only imagine what it must be like to be stuck in way down deep in the middle of the ocean. But I imagine this movie having some slower parts because I wouldn't think there'd be too much action, but there is, of course, action. But I don't know, what do you think?
Actually, there isn't a lot of downtime because while he's trapped at the bottom of the sea, up top, you've got the ship that's connecting all this, and it's fighting against this massive, massive storm surge. So they've lost all electricity. They're having to completely reroute all their wiring to try to get control of the ship again. So there's a lot going on, at the top of the sea and at the bottom of the sea.
Yeah, but just because I know what you like in a movie, there are no car chases. This takes place on a boat.
All right, so no superpowers or anything like that.
No nudity, no car chases. Thankfully, Woody Harrelson keeps his clothes on.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Woody Harrelson, I mean, he's been around for a long time. How was his acting in the movie?
Actually, he's aging into this really great sort of character role part that we see him doing over and over again. He carries the humor obviously well, but there's a certain flintiness to the character that you need a guy like Woody to pull off. So he was actually, I think the whole staff, and there's a backing staff of the people on the actual ship above that is just a killer's row of like every BBC actor you've seen on TV for the last 20 years.
Right.
And so we were joking on the way out of the theater. They really had so much more talent than they needed for these small parts up above. But every face is a kind of that guy. So it's fun to watch.
Yeah. So this movie is PG-13. It's also 1 hour and 33 minutes long. You can watch it in the theaters as well as, I believe, on streaming platforms right now, like iTunes and Amazon, perhaps, I think.
We saw it in the theater. I'm sure if it's not on streaming already, it'll be there pretty soon. And the documentary is streaming. It was a little hard to find, but it is. You can buy it through Amazon and a couple of these other streaming services. I think it originally was on Netflix, but I'm not sure if it's still there.
It's on Amazon. It's on Prime.
All right. So let's go to my favorite website, Rotten Tomatoes. Now, maybe you'll be pleasantly pleased, but the audience approval rating was 91%. So that's pretty high.
That's amazing.
Well, I think this is one of those movies that the audience going into it kind of knows what they're getting into. I mean, this isn't a big movie. It certainly isn't something that I heard a lot about going into it. It's not on anybody's top list of the year. And it's just a real solid sort of, clenchy drama. And, there's some, I don't want to spoil anything, but there's some real tragedy and there's some touch and go moments and there's some some celebratory moments too. So I think it's a popular movie with the kind of people, frankly, as I said, it's dad core stuff. So the guys going into it know exactly what they're getting into.
Yeah, so I heard this is a good movie. Rotten Tomatoes liked it, but let's see about you. Are you giving this a thumbs up, a thumbs down, or somewhere in the middle?
Well, I'll give it a thumbs up. I think, again, knowing what you're getting into, it might be one of those movies that you can wait for it to come to your TV set because it'd be fun to watch on a Saturday afternoon or something. But by and large, I think it was a good movie.
All right, Jen?
Yeah, I agree. I would definitely give it a thumbs up. I just thought it was fascinating to learn about this field and what these men do. I had no idea that we had people going down to the bottom of the sea to work on gas lines, and what they have to go through was just fascinating.
All right, well, 2 thumbs up for the movie Last Breath. Well, Bart and Jen, thanks so much for coming today. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
All right, well, don't go away because we have more when we return.